From the Boardroom. Every week, we share one principle that emerged while building MyXO. These are not generic AI tips or productivity hacks. They are executive decisions we are making in real time as we design an AI executive officer from the top down. If you are building a business, our goal is to help you build yours on a stronger foundation. This week's lesson: confidence is not authority. One of the most dangerous mistakes in business is confusing confidence with authority. Someone may know the answer. They may even be completely right. That still does not mean they have the authority to make the decision. And as artificial intelligence becomes more capable, that distinction becomes even more important. When an executive decision reaches MyXO, we want the system to distinguish between three very different questions. First, can this be done? That is capability. Second, do we know enough? That is evidence. And third, who is actually authorized to make the decision? That is a question of governance. Those questions may produce three completely different outcomes. Imagine the business asks Simon for information that already exists in governed organizational knowledge. The information is current, the evidence is sufficient, and the requested action falls within clearly delegated authority. In that situation, there is no reason to create unnecessary friction. The system should proceed. Now change one condition. The answer looks correct, but the information may be outdated, or perhaps it came from an outside source. Maybe two sources disagree. Maybe the consequences of being wrong are significant. The AI might still be capable of producing an answer, but capability is not enough. The correct response becomes verification required. Now consider a different situation. Simon knows the answer, the evidence is strong, but the decision exceeds the authority that has been delegated to the system. Perhaps it involves a major financial commitment, a legal position, a security exception, a significant personnel decision, or a material change in company direction. In that case, verification is not the problem. Authority is. The correct response is escalate. This distinction matters because AI systems are becoming very good at sounding confident. But confidence is not evidence, and evidence is not authority. An AI can produce an excellent recommendation and still be prohibited from acting on it. That is not a weakness in the system. That is governance working correctly. This is how we want Simon and MyXO to operate. The executive brain determines what the organization knows. The verification process determines whether the information is reliable. Governance determines whether the system has authority to act, and doctrine helps guide judgment when the correct path is not obvious. The goal is not to create an AI that asks permission for everything. That would simply create another bottleneck. The goal is to establish clear authority boundaries. Routine decisions can move quickly, while consequential decisions receive the oversight they deserve. A good executive system should not only know what to do, it should know when it is allowed to do it. This principle is not limited to artificial intelligence. Look at your own organization. Can your employees clearly answer, what am I allowed to decide? What requires additional evidence? What requires approval? When should I stop and escalate? If those boundaries exist only inside the owner's head, the organization will continue returning uncertainty to the owner. That does not scale. So this week, from the boardroom, ask yourself one question. Where in your business is authority still assumed instead of clearly defined? Because knowing the answer and having the authority to act are not the same thing. Confidence is not authority, and good executive systems understand the difference. MyXO, your AI executive officer, military precision for business.